Hey, what's going on everybody? It's Wilhelm Scream and welcome back to another day in Destiny 2 for some more Destiny 2 news and Beyond Light intel. God, it feels so good to say that. And today, like in all videos, I have another really great exploit, glitch, cheese, farm, any of those things qualify to share with you. This is going to be new for today, which is Thursday. This is post a recent patch that did quite a bit of damage to the last glitch that I shared with you on this channel. But, like always, I've figured out another way around it. So, we're going to get to all this information in just 1 second regarding this new exploit to help you power level a bit faster. But first, I just want to remind everybody I'm still doing the giveaway on my YouTube channel. The next one will be at 50,000 subscribers. All you have to do to be entered into that giveaway is like this video, subscribe to the YouTube channel, turn on the notifications, the bell that's right next to the big red subscribe button, and follow me on Instagram or Twitter. They'll be linked in the description box down below, as well as the link to my Discord channel. I encourage anybody who's looking for any help in any of the new activities that are currently in the game, join up on there. It's a great group of individuals helping each other out. And as always, if you stick around till the end of the video, I'll have a secret hashtag you can leave in the comments section to be entered into that giveaway a second time for this video. And remember, those secret hashtags, they stack between all videos. So if you haven't done this on a previous piece of content on this channel, why not go back, check out another video, and of course, do it again. We are doing a Beyond Light Deluxe giveaway at 50,000. So just keep that in mind. Okay, so power leveling. I've talked about this many times before. My previous video was based around how to power level. And I, like most of you, have probably hit the soft cap of 1200 at this point. Maybe you haven't, and this is going to help you out a bit. But I took advantage of the last farm, which, if anybody doesn't know, revolved around doing certain lost sectors that had wanted enemies in them. That was because, for some reason, every wanted enemy was dropping a blue or legendary engram, which would always decode to at least 5 power more than wherever you were at that given time. I'm not exactly sure why this was happening. Some people were using strike bosses, or at least wanted enemies within certain strikes. I was just using a certain lost sector in the EDZ, the Widow's Walk, that had a great yellow bar enemy farm, a wanted enemy farm in there, as well as 4 yellow bar shanks, which also could award a legendary or blue engram. And there was a chest which was also awarding engrams. So sometimes you would leave there with 3 engrams, all higher power than where you started. And when you were doing this on 3 characters, you'd probably notice that the first character took the longest. You were only getting about a 5 power jump every single time you went in. But when you went to the second character, you were averaging more like 10. And then when you went to the third character, I was averaging 20. I'm not totally sure if that's a glitch. I think that might be by design, by Bungie. When you're leveling up, they want you to be able to level up your secondary characters faster than your primary one. But when you're doing something like this farm that I talked about in my previous video, it was really just making that whole progress exponentially faster. But that has been changed. For some reason, the wanted enemies are no longer dropping these engrams. So we have to find a different way around it. And getting to 1200, the soft cap, though you could get there using that method in 20 minutes on your third character, it wasn't really going to help you too much past the soft cap. Past the soft cap, and I did want to talk about this a little bit more at length, you're going to need to do several other things. And I'm going to cover them right now before I actually get to the glitch that you're probably all here for. So, once you get past 1200, legendary engrams and blue engrams are no longer going to drop at a higher power. That doesn't mean that they can't drop at higher than 1200. It just means that they are no longer going to push your power up. So, below 1200, a legendary engram will always give you something better. Above 1200, it will only ever give you something equal to where your base power is. So if I'm 1200, I won't find any legendary or blues above 1200. But if I can get slightly above 1200, meaning if I can get a powerful or tier 1 powerful or prime Ingram to actually go above that base cap, then my other legendaries or blues will equal to that. So if you get to 1210, expect to have legendaries and blues drop at 1210, or at least once you get to a certain powerful that is at 1210. It can be a little complicated, I know. But what you should be trying to do, essentially, at this point, if you're at 1200, is do the things that give you powerful Ingrams. Now, what gives you a powerful Ingram? Well, things like weekly activities. So for example, if you go to the Crucible, you can see you can get pinnacle gear from doing the control. Now this is, if you do 3 matches, you can get a pinnacle piece of gear. Pinnacles are the best. You see, if you go over to survival, if you get 7 wins, you can get a powerful tier 1. Now powerfuls are not as good as pinnacles, but they're still good. The order that you should want to acquire these is do powerfuls first and then do pinnacles. So you'd probably want to do the survival playlist first before you go to your pinnacle gear. Another thing that gives you some of these is the Gambit. This will give you 1 piece of pinnacle gear every week. And Vanguard will give you 1 piece of pinnacle gear for the Vanguard strikes. It'll give you 1 piece of powerful gear for doing the weekly Nightfall, getting the completions. Higher difficulty obviously improves progress. And it'll give you 1 piece of pinnacle gear for getting over a 100k in the Nightfall ordeal. So in order, once you hit 1200, you should want to acquire the powerful tier 1s and then go for your pinnacles in that order. And as an added bonus, once you get 1 piece of pinnacle tier 1 gear, you're actually then going to want to try to equal all other armor that you currently have equipped up to whatever that piece is. So, say I'm sitting at 1200. I get a piece of gear that's 1205, right? I'm going to equip that. That's going to increase my overall power based on the averages between that and all my other gear. It's not going to increase it to 1205. It might increase my overall power to maybe 1202 or 1201. Now, my regular legendary gear, the stuff that isn't either powerful or pinnacle, will start to drop at 1201. You want to get everything you can up to 1201, because once everything else is at 1201 plus that 1205 piece, your overall average will be higher, thereby increasing your power. So, once you get a pinnacle piece of gear, be it powerful or pinnacle, you then want to try to farm out other gear to actually increase your overall power. And this is where the Lost Sector that I talked about in the previous video would have really come in handy post the soft cap, because you could just go in there and level out all your other gear before you went and got another powerful or pinnacle piece. But like I said, that has changed within the last 24 hours. They are no longer dropping those Ingrams, the legendary or blues even. So we have to find a different way. That is what we have found here. We are back on the moon, and as you can see, I am in Saros Harbor. We are not going to stay in Saros Harbor. This is just the spawn point. We are instead going to turn around once you spawn in. You're going to get on your Sparrow, and you're going to head this way. Through these caves. Try not to derp on the rocks, like I always do. Obviously, this isn't as fast as the last method because we need to traverse a slightly longer distance. But we're going to head over to the Hellmouth and make our way down to this point. And you can see there's some people already here doing it. We're going to kill this ogre, this nightmare ogre. The reason we're going to do this is because this ogre has a chance to drop legendary gear and or a blue, and also the chest can drop either legendaries or a blue. And as you can see, I just got a blue piece. My overall power right now is actually 1200. I have 1205, but I'm getting a bonus from my artifact, so I'm not really counting that. It's not going to have any effect on the gear that actually drops for me. But I still have a couple of pieces of 1201 armor on me, so that should affect the drop rates. So as you can see here, I just got a 1201 blue. So I'm going to equip my 1201 blue, as well as anything else that is as high as I possibly can be. And then I'm going to reload into Sorrow's Harbor and repeat this process over and over again. Now, again, the best and most efficient way of using this particular farm to level up is, once you get to the soft cap, you're going to start to want to look at your pinnacles or powerful gear. One other thing that I did want to suggest, even though you can get powerful gear from these weekly activities, I would actually save all of these for the last thing that you do. One other thing that I would do first, before I actually get to all those weekly activities, as far as Gambit, the Vanguard Strikes, and or the Crucible, is head to the tower and do the powerful gear rewards from the vendors. There's several. And another quick tip is some of these might actually force you into acquiring the pinnacle gear from that activity. For example, if you're doing Vanguard Strikes, you might end up getting your pinnacle from doing the strikes while you're actually doing the bounties for the Vanguard. You want to avoid that too. And one way to avoid that is simply by doing the bounties in the strikes. So actually loading up, instead of into the strike playlist, just loading up a strike and then just doing the bounties in there. And a great one to load up, for Vanguard specifically, is to head to the Dreaming City and load up a corrupted strike. We're not going to do the strike, but you're going to load it up and then you're going to head to the Blind Well. That's because even though you're not actually doing the strike, because you've loaded one up, you can then go and do anything so long as you're accessing the playground within the strike, and it'll still count towards all those strike bounties. And the Blind Well has a ton of enemies in it, even outside of the Blind Well. So basically, load up the corrupted strike and then go do a Blind Well, or just kill enemies once you've loaded up any strike. But I suggest this one, just because the Blind Well is such a good place to farm out any sort of enemy kills. And I think a lot of people are actually going to do this, because there's a chance that you might get a little bit of extra gear as well. If you're doing something like Gambit, which will award you a pinnacle piece, you might just want to load into Gambit matches, do the bounties, and then actually leave the games before you get 3 matches complete. So play through the game, but then leave before the end. That'll allow you to get the bounties done without actually acquiring your pinnacle. And you can do the same thing for the Crucible. Load in, get kills, do the things, but don't actually finish the matches. This will allow you to get those vendor bounties done, get the vendor powerful gear done, then go and do the activity powerful gear, then go and do the pinnacle gear. And in between all of them, do this farm. Load in, run over, and try to level out all the averages. And that is going to be it for all the information in this video, guys. I hope that you find this helpful. I know I ramble, but it's just because I like talking. That's all. Thank you all so much for watching. Hopefully your grind on the way to 1250 or 1260 is fruitful using this method. and as quick as possible, of course. The last thing I will say about this particular method is once you reload in, this ogre is almost always here. So that's why this is probably currently the fastest way. There's, I'm sure, other ways to do this. There's probably other enemies to farm. But if you're a solo player, I know you're going to enjoy this one, as I did. For the secret hashtag, you can leave in the comments section for today's video. Leave a hashtag BeyondLight or a hashtag Nightmare Ogre. What's this guy's name? Leave a hashtag this ogre's name. I can't read it right now, but you can pause it. Leave that in the comments section to be entered into that giveaway a second time for this video. Once again, I am Wilhelm Scream, and of course, we will see you next time. Little